What's going on, everybody? So one of the things I realized after reviewing all of the videos from yesterday was, number one, the camera mount that I have in my car is actually a little rickety, and so there's like that little vibration sound. So working on getting that fixed. And then the second thing was that most of the clips were from my car, so I'm gonna try and again get out of my comfort zone and actually vlog and carry the camera around while I'm going around places. So it's gonna be different again because, I don't know, social stigmas, things like that. So again, the whole purpose of this endeavor for me is to get out of my comfort zone and go from there. So excited for that. We're actually on our way to the gym right now. We're gonna train back and biceps today. So get a couple of clips of that video and then carry on with the rest of the day. Okay, so hopefully while we're driving, the vibration's gone down a little bit, but we'll see what happens, obviously, when I review the tapes and everything. Potentially maybe have to get a windshield mount or something like that, and then I can also see that it wobbles a little bit. But anyway, still learning, still a growing process for everything, getting used to all that stuff. So excited nevertheless. Back and biceps today. We're going to start with deadlifts. Now deadlifts, in my honest opinion, are more of a leg exercise, at least in the way that I do them. However, considering that I already hit a heavy squat day twice a week, it's important for me that I can stimulate both quads and hamstrings evenly. And I feel like when I do squats, I can't really deadlift to my full potential. So it's nice to be able to get 2 different days to actually do that. Trying to play with some heavy weight, but really focusing on bar speed and getting it off the ground as quickly as possible. Then we're gonna delve into some weighted pull-ups, trying to add more thickness and width to my lats for my show. And then we're gonna wrap up with some giant sets, just again, accessory work to really focus on contraction, not really focusing on super heavy weight, but really just trying to get a solid pump at the end of the workout. Anyway, see you at the gym. So I'm gonna be 100% honest here. That workout was terrible. I just couldn't focus, and there was a lot going on around the gym, and normally I'm able just to get in, put in my headphones, and just get after it. But for some reason, we have this multi-station rig set up in the gym, and so there's 4 guys working out, and I'm working on deadlifts, warming up, and one of the guys is just being a complete ass. And don't get me wrong, I am a proponent of all elements of fitness. I admire and enjoy, all kinds of things: CrossFit, calisthenics, bar calisthenics, whatever you want to call it, powerlifting, bodybuilding, all those things. I have a limit to what you're doing at the gym in front of people. This guy is slamming the bars around. He's like, I don't know, just acting like a complete lunatic, and it's incredibly distracting. And normally it doesn't faze me. I can easily tunnel vision and focus, but for some reason today just was not the case. So I had to move away from that movement and basically just chased a pump. I think a lot of it too is I definitely underfed for the day. I've only had one very small meal. In the mornings, if I train fasted right when I wake up, it's not a problem. But I find that if I've eaten, I can only train successfully if I've had enough food throughout the day. Otherwise, my body then becomes dependent on that food source for energy. And so now I've just essentially opened the floodgates for my food, energizing the workout. And I had a small breakfast and then went to go work out. And so it doesn't work hand in hand in that regard. That's just with me personally. As opposed to had I just woken up and gone straight to the gym, I think I would have had a much better effect. I don't know, it may sound like excuses, but this is just me talking about the process, going through everything, whether it comes to training, diet, all that. I mean, these are only going to be small peeks and glimpses into what I'm sure other people have experienced down the road, and potentially what I'll experience over the next couple of weeks. But that is what happened today. So what we're going to do instead to refocus on the day is go shopping, get all of our meal prep done for the week. There's no excuse, there's no eating like shit. We're getting it dialed in. And then we're gonna come back tonight and we're gonna hit it. And I will be energized, I will get the workout done, and we will call today a success. But in the meantime, just take this as a small bit of info. Have fun at the gym, get your workout in, but do not make an ass out of yourself and just be distracting. At that point, you're focusing on getting attention, and it's not productive. Also, it drives me bananas when you're trying to upload a video to Instagram and it just does that stupid spinning wheel thing all the time, and yet it's still updating your feed so I can see everyone else's clips, but it won't load my clip. That drives me banana sandwich. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so like I said, I did go back to the gym and repeat that workout just based on having such a rough start to the day. So this is our little commentary. I apologize if it sounds scratchy or whatnot. Right now I'm using my phone to record this commentary, so it's gonna be an exciting process, ever evolving, as I said before. So right here I am warming up my shoulders and rear delts. This is an area of opportunity that I personally have, just a lot of tension. So I like to try to do a little bit of mobility, get nice and loose just before going into a workout. So right here, focusing on retracting my scapula and pulling back with the rear delts. There's another form of that, I guess they're called YTW, something of that nature, but great way to get things started. And then here, doing shoulder dislocations. Again, just trying to open up the anterior and posterior deltoid, just making sure my shoulders are nice and loose. A lot of pulling movements that when you're doing on back day require a nice mobile shoulder, and so I like to do this just to make sure I'm good to go. It's just one of those things that over time I've learned this about myself, I've learned this about my body, and those are just things that I like to work on. Started things off with deadlifts, as I mentioned before. This is my second set at 225. So as I stressed in the beginning, one of the things that I see when it comes to deadlifting is I like to utilize my legs as the main component for the lift. That's the main force component in that. And that's mainly just because, I don't know, I feel like I can drive better with the heel, and so it allows me to activate the hamstrings and keeps the lower back out of the equation. So here, really focusing on bar speed. I'll go up to no more than 315 with a neutral grip. As you'll see, the bar doesn't move as quickly as I anticipated. It was a little heavier for my own hand placement than I had actually expected. But some visual cues. So first things I'll do is make sure to keep that neutral spine, nice tight back, maintain that shape throughout. And then I will drive from the heel and extend from the knee and then the hip, and then I'll actually pretty much finish out there. A lot of people, when they deadlift, they'll see like their lower back arch at the very top, they'll throw their shoulders backwards. The movement that I'm actually doing is bringing the hips under, and that's just to have a nice strong finish. That's, again, something that I've kind of evolved with as I've worked with my deadlift, so on and so forth. I am far from perfect by all means, but these are things that I do based on my physiology, my super long femurs, my long arms and short torso. These are adjustments that I've had to make in order for me to basically deadlift pain-free and with success. And so this next set, I actually did a mixed grip. You'll see the bar moves a lot quicker, and there's a lot less transition time, which is something that I am trying to work with as far as overall grip strength. So when the weight does get a little bit too heavy, I will switch the grip up and kind of go from there. So again, working with sets of 4, nothing too crazy. And then, just kind of go from there. This is dramatic effect. Always got to have good edits in there. So I did 2 sets at 365. I only pulled for triples just because I didn't want to jack up my hips and lower back, but felt really good today. Again, like I said, it was the second time that I had been to the gym, and so was really able to hone in and focus and be able to pull with confidence, so that was great. So again, focusing on keeping my weight back on my heels, tight core, back straight. I really don't want to arch around my back. I want to make sure that it's relatively neutral, and that's where I get the strongest pull. Now, it's not necessarily going to be as quick because it is getting heavier and I am getting taxed and fatigued, but that helps a lot with all of my success in deadlifting. Moved on to weighted pull-ups. This first set, we had 25 pounds added to that weight belt. For me, weighted pull-ups are still an ever-evolving process. It's making sure that I'm able to really get a good contraction on my lat while maintaining a good scapular retraction. The biggest issue with most people, as you'll see, in this particular set, there's a lot of movement, more movement than I would have liked, but I'm not trying to sit here and say that I'm a perfect bodybuilder or a perfect weightlifter. I want you guys to see my process as it evolves. But one of the things that I encourage people to focus on when it comes to pull-ups is keeping your shoulder blades back and down, really trying to squeeze the lat and having an intended pull and squeeze at the top of each movement. Kind of go from there. Next set we did was with 45 pounds, and again, the goal for me with this movement is really just to try and add more density and more thickness to my lats. As it is, I can't really do a ton of pull-ups, and so that's just more of a a body weight thing and just overall building strength. So this is going to be a huge component for me in terms of building that strength, and a very vital part in that overall development of my back. So as you can tell, the weight's getting a little bit aggressive, but even if I can't get a full pull all the way to the bar, I really try to control the negative, so at least I'm getting something productive done while lifting this weight. So after this set, and after my final sets, I went and did a little burnout with just body weight. Adjusting my grips here just because I want to hit the lats from different angles and different stress points, and so I started with a more neutral grip and then bounced over to a little wider, and then the widest that I could go on the bar, and then brought it back in for a neutral grip just to finish burning out the lats. And by this time, I mean, my forearms are smoked, I'm feeling super pumped, got a nice way to start the workout. And then moving into the second phase where we have our giant sets. Now in this workout, I only recorded one of my 2 giant sets just because they are so time consuming, and I don't want to give you guys a gigantic video. But this first one, we did a lat pull down, 3 variations. So we started with a 5-second negative, 3 to 5 second negative for 8 reps. And then we'll move on to a 2-second pause for 8 reps, and then basically just rep out 8 more to get a full pump. So 24 total reps using about 100 pounds on this. I am using Versa grips just because I don't want the stress to be on my forearms. I want the attention to be on my lats. And so as you'll see, one of the things I'm focusing on is keeping the shoulder blades back and down, really getting a good squeeze, and trying to get full range of motion. Not necessarily the point where I'm elevating my shoulders up to my ears and potentially putting myself in a dangerous position, but really trying to get a good squeeze and stretch those lats. It's one of the things with most people that have long arms in these machines and whatnot. You really get a good stretch if you're able to actually kind of move with the machine in that regard. So again, this is the 3rd technical exercise that I'm doing during this particular workout, and yeah, I'm just pumped out as all get out. Moved on to a close grip row. Similarly, in terms of sets of 8, we start off with a 2-second hold, and then jumped into the 5-second negative, and then again 8 reps just to fill the muscles with blood. With this particular movement, I'm focusing on squeezing my shoulder blades together for a couple reasons. One, I don't want my shoulders to do too much of the work. I want to actually have my back doing some bit of the work in this regard. But at the same time, one of my areas that I need to work on is my mid to upper back, and just working on rhomboids, lower traps, and things like that. So if I consciously squeeze my back together and focus on getting those shoulder blades pulled tight, it really does help. So that's one thing that I've enjoyed. Yeah, this set was a monster. I mean, at this point, I'm gassed. I'm really just trying to get a good squeeze. Again, we're not using super heavy weight. We're really just focusing on getting a good pump, just because the majority of our heavy lifting was already done. So at this point, your body's taxed, your muscles are fatigued, and you just want to get a good quality pump in. This is a little gym hack. If you ever want to do a rope pull down or rope pullover or whatever you have and it's not available, I like using the D handle and a towel. Allows me to get the same essential movement. And so right here with the lat pull down, again, pulling the shoulder blades back and down, getting a good squeeze at the bottom, controlling the negative. Did a drop set here, started with 80 pounds, and then we'll drop it to 50, doing 10 reps for each. Again, by this time, 3rd exercise in the movement, minimal rest. We're talking maybe 20, 30 seconds, and that's just transitioning machines. So definitely feeling pretty gassed in this particular exercise. And then after this, we use the same gym hack with the towel and the D handle, and I moved to a face pull. Probably a little different than most people, and you'll see when we get to that next clip, but I actually like to have my hands turned upward, or I guess the term would be supinated, and then I'm focusing on pulling the towel or pulling the cable, whatever it may be, to my forehead and really squeezing my rear delts together. Another way to kind of visualize too is picture your hands pulling the towel apart. That also helps to activate the rear delts as well as upper traps, and so you're not necessarily working just your upper back, and so it's a nice rounded movement as well. Again, this was number 4 of this giant set. It was a beast. That was to failure, and it was a fun one. So did that, and then did another superset. This is actually the first movement of this final giant set, but I just wanted to show just a new movement, new versatility. I'm doing rack pulls. I think I did 8 reps in this particular set. This is the 3rd set, so this is a strength component that I have never worked with, a movement that I've also never tried up until this prep, and so really excited for that. We got 405 on the bar right now. Again, I pulled it for 8 reps. This was the first of my giant set as far as 4 different movements. Didn't record the rest, just again for time constraints and things like that. But with this particular exercise, focusing on the top half of a deadlift, really squeezing the back, keeping it, keeping a neutral spine. You'll see that my hips come into play just at the top. Again, my natural instinct when I deadlift is to move the hips under, and so you can see that I'll pull the hips under to finish the overall lift, but really focusing on squeezing the shoulder blades, keeping a neutral spine, and really just pulling that weight up. I mean, even though it's not a very long movement, when you have that much weight on the bar, it makes a world of difference. That is going to actually conclude this video. I want to thank you guys again for watching, and as always, please like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Take care.